The Fool's Journey. Chapter 4. The Two Swords.
I reserve the right of the High Champion,
Obalon said.
You will fight me in the arena to prove your worth.
The Fool, now known to all as Luce, the Emperor's son, shook his head and laughed. I have no interest in being beaten by you.
Then you admit failure before the test.
The bird-like Cite said, shaking his head after he spoke.
And you expect the sight of your father's kingdom to follow you? When you refuse even the simplest challenge to your authority?
I have no bone to pick with you, the Fool said. No quarrel that requires answering. I would rather be your friend than your enemy.
Not what this is about,
Obalon said.
It is about character. When challenged, 3 outcomes are possible. One either rises to the occasion, succumbs to it, or cheats their way to a false victory. Based on my skill alone, I know you have neither the talent nor ability to defeat me. This isn't about victory, it's about character. Show yours by answering my question.
Luce frowned. I already have. Obalon cawed, laughing a shrill sound that echoed throughout the school grounds.
When your father dies, the alliance with my people dies with it. We will not follow a human's lead if that human has no character.
Suddenly the other students, many of them Cite like Obalon, looked to Luce with either concern, fear, or disrespect. The Fool could feel their eyes burrowing into him, and for a moment he let the two concepts battle inside of his mind. To fight when there was no purpose behind it and no victory to be won, instead of making peace with those that challenged him. Why was the second one wrong, and what was to be gained by the outcome of the first? He pondered these thoughts until he realized the crowd was breaking up and Obalon was nearly out of earshot. For the sake of our alliance, Luce finally said, making sure everyone within earshot could hear him, I will do as you ask, and fight you with whatever might I may have within me. This changed the tone of the audience immediately, everyone stopping and shifting their gazes to Obalon, who stopped and slowly turned in the Fool's direction. He smiled.
Then I will see you in the arena. Good day.
Luce trained for 3 days, doing what he could to improve his people's skills. Obalon, to his surprise, did the same, even though it was clear that he didn't need to. As the Fool watched the graceful, dexterous Cite practice, he could see why the bird-like humanoids were such excellent fighters. They possessed the grace of winged beasts and the lust for victory that beat within human hearts. He could see his father's wisdom in the forging of their alliance and the benefits that came from such a partnership. The day of the challenge came.
Blade or fist?
Obalon asked. Blade, the Fool said, and Obalon smiled. Then he bowed with graceful respect. The Fool did the same.
Let the challenge begin.
What Luce del Futuro lacked in terms of experience, he made up for with prowess and dexterity. Although he failed to land a single strike of his own, he managed to avoid all of Obalon's, even though more than one strike came close enough to his ears for them to hear the whistle of the air being pierced around them. Once the round was finished, a smiling Obalon sat in his corner to catch his breath, the grin never leaving his face. Luce's face bore the extent of his exertion at dodging the blows. He doubted quite seriously in his ability to repeat his performance. The second round began, and Obalon began to toy and play with the future Emperor, deliberately missing the Fool with purposeful folly and laughter. Luce's strikes became more and more wild with the combination of the Cite's taunting and deliberate misses. Each one was a little more angry than the next, and a little less precise, until finally the Fool felt bloodlust in his veins and lunged with all of his might, his attack catching nothing but air as Obalon quickly sidestepped the blow, and let one of his feet catch the future Emperor's ankle, sending the Fool into the mat for his first official defeat.
Never strike in anger,
Obalon said, scissoring up the air above the fallen Luce's head.
That is the first rule in any contest of wills.
The Fool, whose anger swept over him, ignored the wisdom in Obalon's words and got to his feet, abandoning his own blade and ignoring the Cite's, as he drove a surprise blow against the bird-like humanoid's right jaw, sending him reeling. Luce smiled at his temporary victory, preparing himself to gloat or say something witty and cruel for a brief taste of sweet revenge, when Obalon returned his favor by landing 3 strikes, a slap to both sides of Luce's face, and a driving blow that broke the future Emperor's nose, filling his field of vision with stars and his mouth with blood.
To fight when unbalanced leaves you open to the whims of your more experienced challenger.
Ovalon said, wasting no time in following up his words with quick strikes to the fool's abdomen. The wave of dizziness caused Luce to stumble backward, catching himself from falling while he threw a wild swipe against the air without the slightest chance of it hitting anything at all. Ovalon returned that favor with an uppercut, sending the fool once again into the mat. The count reached 5 when he rolled to one side and got up on one knee, 7 when he grabbed the ropes for help, 9 when he finally stood up without assistance. I will take your final blow now, if it is all the same to you, Luce said, as he looked with tired eyes at the huge yellow ones of Ovalon's. The Cite, whose emotional control never faltered for a single moment during the entire exchange, stopped as he looked at the bleeding future Emperor and smiled.
There is no need. You have proven your character well. The challenge has been met.
Then I offer one of my own, Luce said, stepping forward. The Cite cocked his head to one side with curiosity.
And what is that, future Emperor?
The fool bended one knee. Teach me how to fight, as you do, he said. Ovalon smiled, and a friendship that would last decades began at that very moment in the center of that arena.